Hello and welcome to another tutorial from MOO ICT. In today's tutorial, we're going to be making a Flappy Bird game inside of WPF and C#. Right, just take a look. So I can control the bird with the space bar, and then I can fly over. And if you hit a pipe, obviously the game's over, and it tells you that you can press R to restart. So let's see if I can go through this pipe. Okay. Okay, so as you can see, as soon as I cross a pipe, I get a score, and then there's a cloud image in the background that's going to scroll from right to left. So that's just to give the game a bit more in-depth effect. Right, so we're going to be making this game using Visual Studio. So let's just go make a new project. In the new project window, click on create a new project. In this one, we're going to pick WPF.NET framework. Let's name this project Flappy Bird game MOO ICT WPF. Click create. Okay, so this is the blank project that we're going to be working with. I'm just going to make the window slightly smaller so I can see the code a little bit better. Yeah. We're also going to need to move a few GUI around as well. Okay, so before we begin, just make sure you download the images from the link in the description. So this image, the images that you're going to be downloading will be 2 cloud images, a bird image, and then a pipe up and a pipe down image. Okay, you also have access to the written tutorial on the website, but we'll just go through a step-by-step process inside of this video. The first thing, we're going to import all the images that you have downloaded. Make sure you extract them. Let's go make a new folder in the projects. So click on new folder, call this one images. Okay, so if you right click on the images there, click on add existing item. Okay, let's go and navigate to the downloads. So right there, we have to choose from this drop down, we have to choose the images option. So once all the images show up, highlight all of them and click on add. Okay, that would have added all the images to this project. Okay, let's get started with the XAML code, and after the XAML code, we're going to get started on the C# script. Okay, first let's change the title to Flappy Bird game WPF MOO ICT. Let's change the height and width. The height to 490. I'll change the width to 525. Okay, let's change this one to a canvas. So we're going to be using a canvas to show all the graphics and animate all the objects inside the game. So to start, let's give this one a name called my canvas. Let's set the focusable to true. We're going to attach a key down event and a key up event. So we can say key is down like this, and key up event here. So let's say key is up. We also need to give this one a background. So we're going to give the background of a light blue color. So you can just select light blue from the screen, and then you can see the light blue has been added to the canvas. Okay, so inside of this canvas, first we're going to set up the 2 clouds, and then we'll set up the pipes. So let's go to images here. So give this one a height of say 145, width to 200. Let's set the source images/cloud.png. Then let's set the canvas left to 0 and canvas top to 0 for now. We also need a tag. This is very important, to say cloud. Okay, let's end this now. I think I'm missing an S here, that's why it's not showing up. Okay, so that's the first one. So if I just duplicate this line here, so just press Ctrl D, then I think the second one is called clouds 2. Now I can move them there. Okay, so these are the 2 clouds images. Let's go make the pipes. Set the height to 390. It is going to be 66. Sources images. And this one can be first one can be the pipe bottom. Okay. So tag. We're gonna set this one to obs1, so as in obstacle 1. Okay. So you can set the canvas left to 0 and then canvas.top to 0 as well. We can always drag and drop them when we need to. So that's the pipe bottom there. If I put this one down here, I need to duplicate this line, then change that to pipe top. Okay, have it. That's these two are going to be obs1. Okay, what we can do after is we can just copy and paste these two about twice, right? And then after that, so just need to move them out. I'm just holding the shift and then selecting both of them. Okay, so with that done, now I need to set these ones to obs2, these ones to obs3. I'm going to make this one slightly lower, this one can be a little bit higher. So it can be in the middle somewhere. Okay, with the pipes being done, let's add the bird for the game. So it's going to be image as well. This one's, we're going to give it a name, Flappy Bird. Set the height to 36, set the width to 50, the source to images / flappybird.png. We need to properly stretch the image to match the height and width, so let's set the stretch to fill, set canvas.left to 0 and canvas.top to 0 as well. Okay, so as you can see, the bird's been added there now. So we can move the bird probably about, say about here. So when the game starts, it should be just there. Okay, lastly, what we need is a label. Set the name to txt school with the font size to say 22, font weight to extra bold in this case. Set the content to say score 0. So that's the default, and it's okay to have the label there because that's where we want the score to sort of show anyway. So that's perfectly fine. Okay, so we have the XAML code done now. So now we can go and add the events. So if I right click on the keys down keyword here and then click on go to definition, that will add the event to the C# script that's linked to this XAML code. So I'll do that same for the key is up as well. Okay, so both of the events been added now. So let's go and add two functions here. Now private void start game, and then a end game here. Okay, so this one's going to be loading all the default values for this game, and this will be called when the game ends. Okay, so what we need is we need to import the threading namespace for the timer. So say system using system.windows.threading. So let's add the variable for this game. Call this one game timer equals new dispatcher timer, like so. Okay. We need a double as a score, and say gravity is to 8. We need a game over boolean and a rect for the Flappy Bird. So we're going to use the rect as a Flappy Bird hitbox. Okay, so this is going to store the height, width, and the location of the bird, so we'll know when he actually hits the pipe. Okay, so let's go and load up the timer. Plus equals, so let's give an event name here. Okay, so if it comes up as a red, don't worry about it because that's going to be added in a minute. Okay, so let's give the timer interval, so how often we want this timer to tick. So we can pick from milliseconds. So we can say like I want this timer to tick every 20 milliseconds. Okay, and then we can start the game, start game function from here as well. Right, so if I hover over the red line now and just click on show potential fixes and choose the first generate method, right, so that's going to generate the event for us. So right now it's an empty event. We can delete this line from here, we don't need that. So let's start with the start game function, so we can load up all the default values and then move over to the other functions from here. Okay, so in here we can say my canvas focus, right? So this function will keep the canvas element in focus when the game runs first. Let's make a temporary integer, so I'll call it temp equals 300. Set the score to 0, game over to false. So we're going to set the default value of the bird here, so we'll say set top. Let's go look for the bird here, so say Flappy Bird, so I can say 190, so that would basically bring it to about 190 pixels from the top. So if I go back here and take a look at this, so say if I bring that to about 190, this would be the default loading position for the bird. So now we need to run a for each loop that's going to loop through all the images, and then we're going to specify what we want to move where using tags. Let's say for each x my canvas children off type. So what we're interested in is image classes, so any element that is an image, we're going to run a loop through, we're going to loop through them. Okay, so say if, let's do a casting here, say string x.tag is equals obs1. So the first pipes that we see here, we're going to move them off screen so they can come towards the player. So if that is so, let's say canvas.set left to x, and then we're going to move it to about 500 for the first one. Okay, so and then we can copy and paste that a couple of times because we have got obs 2 and 3, so I can change that to 2 and change this one to 3. Second one we're going to move it to about 800, and third one we'll move it to about say 1100. Okay, so don't forget we also have 2 clouds in the back which we want to move off screen so they can slowly come towards inside the screen. So for the clouds we're going to be using that temp integer that we created here. So say obviously if, okay, so if any of the elements match the tag cloud, right, so we can say here is set left to say 300 plus temp. Okay, and once it finds 1, then we're going to change the temp to say about 800. So it's going to move the second one that it finds, going to move it further down. After the for each loop is done, we set everything up, then we can start the game timer. So now let's go do the key down and key up function. So say for example if key equals key dot space, right, so if the space bar is pressed, what we're going to do is we're going to rotate the bird slightly up so it signifies that the bird is flying upwards. So you can say Flappy Bird dot render transform equals new rotate transform here. And inside of here the first option is for the degrees, so we're going to give it about -20 degrees angle here. Okay, and then now we need to specify the center X and center Y, so where is it going to be rotating from. So that's going to be pretty easy because we want it to be the half of the width, so the center from the width and center from the height. So we're going to divide both of these values by 2, so it would be in the center of the image. Okay, and also when the spacebar is pressed, we're going to reverse the gravity, so gravity equals say -8. Okay, so instead of bird going down, it's going to move up. And we have another one, so for say e.key equals key dot r. So if the R button is pressed, we also need to check and game over is true. Okay, so if game over is true and the R button is pressed, then we can run the start game function again, so that should reset everything on the screen for us. Okay, so inside the keys up function, we're basically going to use these two lines right here. And then what we're going to say is we're going to reset gravity back to 8. So when any of the key is released, the gravity is set back to 8 again. And we're going to set the transform to 5. So it's looking slightly downwards instead of looking up. So we can actually try this out now, see if the bed actually moves. So as you can see, the pipes have moved out of the screen. So if I make this window slightly larger, you're able to see they've been positioned and the cloud's been positioned as well. And if I press the spacebar, now the bird actually rotates up from the center of the bird image. Okay. So for the main event, we're going to start off with updating the score. So txt score.content equals to say score, then do a space plus score. So that should always update the score. Okay, so now let's initialize the Flappy Bird hitbox. So inside of here, what we can say is canvas.getLeft, Flappy Bird, canvas.getTop. So get the left and the top location of the Flappy Bird, and then of course Flappy Bird.width, and then Flappy Bird.height. Okay, so this way you will always update the position of the Flappy Bird, and we'll know exactly where the bird is inside the scene. All right, let's add the gravity to the Flappy Bird. We'll say canvas.setTop. We'll go for the Flappy Bird here, and then we can say canvas.getTop. Again, we're looking for the Flappy Bird, and then in here we can say plus gravity. So whatever the value of gravity is, it's going to pull the bird down. So when it becomes minus, it's going to push it up. So let's take a look if that works. Okay, so see the bird is now going down, so I can press and hold the space bar to actually move it up. And as soon as I release it, it looks down and then it comes back down again. Okay. So now let's start moving the pipes in the clouds. To do another for each loop here, say var x in my canvas.children.image of type image. Okay. So inside of here, we're going to be looking for all the 3 tagged pipes and the clouds. Okay. So let's say, for example, if string x.tag equals obs1. Okay, we can also copy this part here. Okay, do an or sign because there's 3 tags, so we can look for obs2 or you got obs3. So if any of these tags matches with any of the elements that's inside the canvas, we can do the following with it. So first we're going to be moving them. Let's say set left, let's say x, then canvas.getLeft of x inside the bracket. And we can deduct like 5 from here. All right, so that would be the pipe speed. And then once the pipes go past the left, we also need to bring the pipes back. So if they go past here, we also need to bring it to this side so they can continue on. So let's say if canvas.getLeft x is say less than -100, so if it's gone below the canvas's left position, then we can say canvas.set left again to x, and then we're just going to move it to 800. So because it's going to do for all 3 of them, so this way we can actually make sure that there's a nice spacing between all 3. So if we just run this, flying through, then once one of them move through, will automatically start coming back. So if I even make this slightly bigger, you'll be able to see how the pipes start moving. Yeah. Okay, and they do leave a nice little gap for the player to readjust themselves to move to the next pipe. So now because we have two pipes, right, this is why we did the score as a double and not integer. So because we've got two pipes, what we want to do is we want to give the player one score based on if they've gone through. So basically if they haven't hit the pipe, right, if the pipe's gone to this side, then we have obviously gone past the pipe successfully. So what we can do here is we can say score plus equals 0.5. So the double data type allows us to use decimal points. So this way we can actually make sure that we get one score for the group of pipes that we have in the game. So let's go try that out. See if one of them gone through, we get 1 and 2, 4, 5. Okay, under this if statement, we can make a new rect for the pipe. So we can call this one pipe hitbox equals new rect. Okay, so similar thing again. Actually, I can just copy and paste that here. Then just change them to X. Okay, so all of these ones that reference the Flappy Bird can become X. So it will know exactly which pipe it is because it's going to go through the loop. Okay, and now we need to check the hit test between the pipe and the bird. So you can say here, say Flappy Bird hitbox dot intersect with pipe hitbox. Right, if that happens, then we can just run the end game function here. Okay, so let's get out of this if statement and then deal with the clouds. Okay, so say here if, once again let's go for the string x.tag equals cloud. Yep. Then you can say canvas.set left x and then this one could be -1 because we want the clouds to be moving very slowly. Okay, and then of course you can say here if canvas.get left x is say less than 250. So if it's less than, sorry, minus 250. So if it's left the canvas from the left the same as the pipes, we're just going to reposition it. Okay, so you can say canvas.set left again here x to say about 550. Okay, so we can probably give this one like a 2. It moves a little bit faster when we run it. Just running it again just to see what happens. As you can see, the clouds are now moving as well. Okay, we get the score updated. So right now if we hit the pipe, behind the scenes it's running the function, but it doesn't know what to do with the function just yet. Okay, so see both of the clouds are moving. Okay, excellent. So one of the other things that we need to do is if the player sort of flies off from the top or drops from the bottom, we also want to end the game. Okay, so we need to check those here before the for loop. Let's do those now. Say if canvas.get top, right, so say Flappy Bird is say greater than -10, so it's gone to the top there, or get top again. Flappy Bird is greater than, it's going to move the bird down so I can see how far I can go. Say about here, say about 458. Okay, about 458. Right, we also want to run the end game here. Okay, so that would do the logic for the events. Right, we just need to go and focus on do the end game, and then we should be able to try the game out for real. So inside the end game, we're going to say game timer.stop, and then we'll have a game over, set that to true so we can actually reset the game. And then we're just going to show a little message to the score label here to say instead of doing that, we can just do a plus equals like that and say space, yeah, say game over. Try again. Okay, so that would be the end game function. So now let's go and try to actually play this and see how that works. Oops. Oh yeah, put the less than, instead of saying less than, I'll put the greater than there. So it's gonna have to be less than here. Okay, so let's try that now. So if it fly up, it ends the game, and then if I just let it drop, it also ends the game there. Okay, so now if I hit the pipe, it hits it. If you want to get the bird a lot closer to the pipe, we can reduce some amount from the width. So say for example, if we reduce like 5 from here, say where it says rect, so Flappy Bird hitbox. So if you reduce that to like -5, then the hitbox actually gets a lot smaller. So you'll be able to see that when you hit the pipe, you actually see the bird a lot closer to the pipe. Okay. Right, so let's see if I can go through this one. Go to this one as well. I hope you guys enjoyed the Flappy Bird game made in WPF and C#, and I will see you on the next one.